allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stay right there for a second. Can we give Savannah a round of applause? Thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's so brave to say the pledge in front of all of these people. So I think Savannah did an awesome job. We've got a fun little thing to a squishy star and a little certificate to put on your fridge. And thank you. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you for being here tonight, everybody. This is a meeting when we do have public comments. I'll ask if there's anyone who would like to come to the podium and make a comment. We have minutes up for minutes up for approval of promotions, please. Amy, Julianne. Thank you. And you are up, Nancy.
Hi. Sounds good. Hi.
Yeah, that would help. Motions and all in favor. That carries unanimously. Thank you. When Deb's not here, it is all wrong. That's all I can say. Okay, Macy, now you're really up for real.
I don't know if this thing's loud. Okay,
No.
I'll just speak loud then. Today at the student government meeting, we're talking about the breakfast with the Grey Wolf event that we're planning. We also talked about CA Bowl, which is like a football game between the junior and senior class. And we're thinking of planning that for the day of spring fling, so hopefully more people stick around. We wrote thank you notes, and we're getting fun customized sweatshirts for National Assistant Principals Week. And we're also planning a school-wide Easter egg hunt to hopefully get rid of some merch that we have from student government. We're gonna throw like some candy and coffee carts too, so people actually participate. And then this Sunday, the 13th, is Thrift Day, so please come. I'm really excited about it. We have these big garbage bins at the school full of clothes and anything else that you could possibly need or want. And I'm just so glad to see the participation, and I hope a lot of the community comes. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Yep.
What time is Thrift Day?
I think it's in the morning, but I don't exactly know.
Okay.
Find out and get it out.
And I think these are on now, right? Maybe? No? Yeah, okay. All right, awesome.
They are, thank you.
Okay, so I just have two things as part of my report, and I'm really not gonna talk much for either of them. I'll turn one over to Julianne Miller. We had the privilege of attending our vocational BOCES program last Friday, and just thought maybe you could summarize the event.
Sure. It was really a fantastic event and a great opportunity for me to learn about the various opportunities that are available to our students at FLTCC. It was great to see them. We saw a number of the culinary students in action. They provided lunch for us. They had made everything. The cookies were huge. But a number of students who were helping to serve the lunch and make the food work from Canandaigua, which was nice for us. And it was great to see them building their confidence and really being proud of the work that they had done, and they clearly were developing a lot of different skills, including with the tour guides we worked with public speaking. I was really impressed with our guide, who was really able to speak to a lot of different aspects of the program. So after lunch, we did a tour of the facility and were able to see a number of the different spaces and programs, and I was impressed both with just the incredible different opportunities that are available for our students to learn about subjects that we don't teach at the academy, and to have the equipment and the resources and the skilled teachers they need to pursue those different fields, whether it was diesel technology or electronics, they had wired an entire new classroom that they had designed, cosmetology, culinary, so many that we didn't even get to. But to also hear our tour guide who was talking about all of the different programs that were not her own, but she was able to speak about them thoughtfully and with a tremendous level of detail. And it was just great to see that we offer so many opportunities, I think, for our kids in our schools, whether it's academics or the arts or athletics, so many different ways that they can pursue their talents and their passions. And it was wonderful to see that there is so much even beyond our buildings that our students have access to help them develop the skills that are important to them, that they want to use to be productive members of our community. And it was really a privilege to get to go.
Thanks for attending. It was a great time. All right. So I have our Director of Athletics and Communication here with us, Caroline Chapman. We, as you know, we recognize our athletes for first team, all county, and sectional championships and state championships. And so while we don't have them all here tonight because there's games going on, there's practices and things like that, we have a number of them here tonight, and Mrs. Chapman will recognize all of our award winners as soon as she comes back to the podium.
Hi, thank you. Good evening. We have about half of the first team All-League All-Stars are here right now, and then we have a swim team waiting out there. It's a whole team. So we had a great winter season. We had one sectional team championship, multiple individual championships, along with first and foremost our teams that need scholar athletes. So we had our swimming and diving team, ice hockey, girls bowling, and girls alpine skiing, girls indoor track, boys indoor track, boys basketball, girls basketball, and competitive cheer. All were named scholar athlete teams, meaning that 75% of their team had a cumulative average of over a 90. So we're excited about that, and always want to remind everyone that the first word of student athlete is student, and that we prioritize that and make sure that we're staying on top of that. Our hockey team, there's no members of our hockey team here who made first team all league, but they did win the league sportsmanship award, and so we want to recognize that as an important, very important and valuable trait. This was against Victor in sectionals, and Coach Taft had a young team, so we're looking for great things in the future. Taylor Denise is not here, she's at a track meet. We're gonna find a trend that there's a lot of people not here tonight because they're at other events, which is great. She was the Section 5 champion in the 3,000 meters in our class, and she will probably be competing in that today. Ava. Eva's here, she's been here a couple times as a first team all-league in cheer. In the fall, it's game day cheer, which is a little bit more of what some people might call traditional cheerleading, with more actual cheers, and then in the winter they do more of the stunts and then more of tumbling. And Ava is going off to Nazareth next year, so Riley's going to Damon next year, and she too was a first team all Monroe County Public School Athletic Conference in competitive cheer. Been on the team the whole time. This is my 4th year as the athletic director, so been on the team, the varsity team the whole time, and we're gonna miss these guys. Next up, Eiley Hubler. She's going to Hobart and William Smith colleges. Where she will be playing basketball. And she had a great season, first team all-league, the league player of the year for our division. She played in the prestigious Ronald McDonald All-Star game, so that's all of Section 5 All-Star game. And you know, she really set the pace on the court as the point guard, and I know Coach Brennan's in this for a lot next year. She won't be part. Julia's not here. She's usually invited to this meeting. She is at the track. She's probably competing in the hurdles right now, maybe the high jump or a couple different things. But Julia was the defensive player of the year for our division, along with being first team all-league, and she played in the exceptional senior team. She's going to soon Portland to play volleyball. No cheers. Connor Chapman was, he can't make it tonight either. He's on the boys golf team. He was first team all-league. He was the league co-player of the year, Ronald McDonald, and we just found out this week he's gonna be all Greater Rochester selection. He is not sure. I talked to him today. He's not sure where he's headed, but he's hoping to play basketball. And he had a great year averaged over 20 points and a lot of fun baskets. If anyone went to a game, he brought a lot of great energy to the court. Coach Brennan, who love me for this picture. Don't take a picture of it. He was named the league coach of the year. Oh, sorry. He was named the league coach of the year. So he works very hard. I was talking to another basketball coach today, and they're like, I don't know if there's someone who puts in more time in the off season across all the levels of the program than Coach Brennan. So we want to recognize him. Coach Davern in the middle was our boys basketball coach. The boys basketball team finished the season 18-5, went to the sectional finals at the Blue Cross Arena. It was called the War Memorial. And he has decided to step away and focus more on his family, but great season, coached for 4 years, and he was the Section 5 Class A2 Coach of the Year. Double A2 Coach of the Year. Reed Hegney, he's at lacrosse practice. He made states. He was first team All-League in alpine skiing, and also was named the All-Greater Rochester team for the second year in a row. He's a junior, so we're expecting some great things next year. He also plays football and lacrosse. Sadie Erb. I think there's not a bowling award Sadie didn't win this year, just about. Okay, so Sadie was named first team All-League. She was Section 5 Class B champion again. She went to states for the third time. She's named All-Greater Rochester. And it'll be announced that she will be the primetime bowler of the year. So she's got some great things going on for bowling. She's had a 300. We're looking for some 300s in scholastic bowling. That's our next goal, right? That's, I think, the one thing we're missing. Then they have a new state tournament style for girls and boys bowling. So it used to be that there wasn't really a true New York State champion. So there's a lot of great things to come. See, he's a sophomore, so we're looking for more. The bowling team finished second at sectionals this year. That's important thing that we have on our radar. Josh was the leader on the boys bowling team, first team All-League. And what was your best game this year, Josh? 279. 279. So which ring did you not have a strip?
The sixth.
Six. Okay, there you are. We've had a lot of great sets, you do three total games at each match, and so the composite scores was totaled for your team, and we take our 5 best scores. And so Josh and Sadie, we had a great bowling season. Coach Tupper, Coach Erb is here, he helps out as well. We're expecting great things from bowling next year, and Josh will be here, so we have to continue it on without him. Girls wrestling. I wanted to put this picture in because it kind of shows exactly what was happening in Albany. It was the first time New York State held the girls wrestling championship. And so there were about 202 girls there, and 3 were from Canandaigua Academy, and we had the most that represented Section 5. We had, you can see we're lined up kind of in the middle. There's Josie right here. We had, everyone marches in with their section, and they have like a banner, someone carries a flag, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, and that was on Thursday, and then the boys competed on Friday and Saturday. And it was really great to see the energy behind girls wrestling. We were the first school in Section 5 to have girls wrestling, and we started our girls wrestling tournament this year with Coach Cuppernell, who's here. We called it the Revolution. It was named after the newspaper started by suffragette Susan B. Anthony, and since she voted in Canandaigua, we had to give her a little credit. So Mike and I kind of tag teamed on that idea, and he's found the newspaper, and he's like, we're starting a revolution here. We're starting a revolution for girls wrestling. Zoe Baker in the back was one of our first girls wrestlers, and she's a senior, so we're gonna miss her as well. But we have Josie up here, who was first team All-League, Section 5 champion, went to states and All-Greater Rochester, and it was the first year we had individual sectionals for girls wrestling, and we won 3 of them, so it's great to say. Janiyah Simmons also won, same accolades, Section 5 champion, went to states, All-Greater Rochester. And our only freshman here is Michaela, and she had I know she's currently at this picture, but this was right when you won. It was the the best match of the night. She was down, and if you go down by 10 points, you lose. And I think she was down by 9, and it was getting really close to the end of the time, and she pinned a girl, and that whole place was going wild, and I lost my voice, great for everyone else, and she went to states, and we expect some big things to come. She's a freshman, and that was your first year of wrestling, right? Peyton Allgood, he's not here, but we want to recognize him for being first team All-League. And then Riley Baker is in there somewhere. And Riley was also named first team All-League. Our boys team, we hosted our annual 50th anniversary of the Robert Bradshaw Memorial Wrestling Tournament this year, which was really exciting. And the Bradshaw family's been very supportive of that tournament, and they were just as supportive of our girls tournament, which was really nice to see. And then lastly, for our individual awards, we had wrestler Mason DePew. He's also at lacrosse practice. Mason was first team All-League. He was the league upper weight wrestler of the year. He earned his 100th win at the Bradshaw tournament. He was all Greater Rochester, went to states where he placed for the second time and placed fifth. So we're really gonna miss him. Really outstanding career. He's leading our lacrosse team in the face-offs right now. So big things to come. But those are our winter athletes.
Carolyn, can you tell us about how many hours a week an athlete spends on the sport between practice, games, meets, and travel?
So I think it varies sport to sport, but I'll speak for the wrestlers, and Mike, feel free to jump in. I would say they're spending maybe on the weekend, you could be at a wrestling match for 12 hours. That's not uncommon. Does that sound right?
And practice every day.
And then practice daily, and then usually another match during the week. And then what was interesting, and I know some of these people volunteered, they would have their girls wrestling match, and then they'd be running the score table at the boys wrestling competitions. And so they have, a lot of different things going on. I have a great picture of Zoe and Josie at the prison concert. So they were at a wrestling match the night before, and at the prison concert the next day. So many of them do many different activities, but I would say during the season, you're looking at 20 hours.
So scholar athlete is quite a distinction.
And I also find that usually most people do better when they're in season.
Yeah.
And their grades. So I think they're maybe a little more structured, but just a guess. Other questions? Awesome, thanks guys.
Thank you so much.
Apparently there was a sale on X.
You might want to,
Oh, wait, yeah, we
come
have a
that
couple
way, take
extras,
her to the
but-
screen, right?
Jack, can you sit that way a little bit?
Maybe, yeah, thank you.
Okay. So this is our Canandaigua Academy boys swimming and diving team. The diving is important because we beat McQuaid in sections by 3 points, okay? And then county that. So we won the section 5 class B swimming championship. The seniors on the swimming and diving team won 3 sectional titles during their time at Canandaigua Academy if they started in 9th grade. We have Coach Kraft here and Coach Skimaker. Coach Skimaker and his staff were named the All Greater Rochester Coaching Staff of the Year this year. And they just were gonna say a little bit more about their season.
Good evening. First off, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to celebrate their success throughout the season. This team did a great job. They fulfilled everything that we wanted them to. They came together as a team. It was really a team effort. effort, they supported each other, they had fun with the season. It seemed to me like we were trying to push the less about competing and more about supporting each other and having fun and just trying our best. And that's what we did. They did great. We ended up 8-2 this year. We were 4-0 in our league, so we won our league title as well. This was the first year we beat Fairport at our own quad meet that we organize every year. Every year we get stomped by Fairport every year. This year we got them, which is pretty cool.
And your alma mater.
Yeah, yes, and my swim coach still coaches for Fairport. So that was a little awkward, but. Yeah, oh, and actually, and Coach Grax as well. She's a Fairport grad too, so. And then, we went and we won the Hilton Invitational that we were invited to this year. We had a tremendous season. We had a lot of fun. And, these guys let me experiment with some different things throughout the season. And it turned out to be pretty good. So, Class B champions, league champions, just a great group of boys.
Awesome, thank you. The boys, will you just introduce yourselves and let us know your names, starting with you,
I'm Melissa Lazo.
I'm Wyatt Nolan. I'm Sawyer Mallett. I'm Eli Hire.
Hunter Crystal.
William Maxfield.
Henry Smith.
Pietro Fracasso. Shane Thomas.
Josh Stevens. Jack Farrington.
And collectively, as I said, they won, seniors won 3 sectionals. Don Bava was the Division III Swimmer of the Year. Our medley relay of Sawyer and Kyle Barrington and Jaden Thomas and William Maxfield were named, they won sectionals, they're still high-fiving about it over there. It was a really big team effort that day at Webster. Overall, we had multiple people being first team all league, Dom, Eli, William Maxfield, Henry Smith, Jaden Thomas, and then Sawyer Mallett, Josh Stevens, and Jack Farrington were all named first team all league along with Coach Ski Maker. But, when you win sectionals, it was a team effort, and it was a great season, and we look forward to more great things to come from our boys swimming and diving team. Congratulations. Won the sportsmanship award at sectionals as well. If anyone has any questions for the swimmers and divers? I'm sure they didn't want any questions, so. So you guys are good to go, and thank you so much for having us here today. We're looking forward to our spring sports. We thought it was gonna be really cold today, but the weather kind of took a turn, so we have track competing tonight at Brighton, the JV lacrosse game after the track meet also at Brighton. We're playing Brighton tennis, and it's been Brighton day. And then we have golf did get canceled for tomorrow, but we have a couple more contests. And when I left Evansfield, baseball was playing. So lots going on today.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Carolyn.
Get the front row.
Yeah, right, good seat.
Good evening. We'll hopefully adopt the budget tonight, so I'll go through the budget presentation, where we currently stand. A lot is going to be the same, or very similar to what we presented 2 weeks ago, and we'll go through that process. So, we'll look at the revenues, the expenses, and then work our way through, estimated tax bill, the propositions that will be on the ballot and the vote. So, as we go through each year, and as we did last time, we look at the tax cap history and where the district has gone out with the tax levy. The blue line being what our tax cap calculation is, the green line with the board has chosen to go out with from year to year. This year's tax cap is 3.37%. The proposed tax levy increase as part of this budget, if adopted, would be 2.9%. As we talked about last week, we're in a, really good situation with state foundation aid this year. We're higher than the statewide average, so the, statewide minimum right now is 2% increase. Based on the updates to, the socioeconomic and enrollment, data, the census data through the state, foundation aid formula, we've been benefiting, with an increase of 4.9%, just over $1.1 million. On the revenue side, this is, almost an identical slide as, last meeting, except for the property taxes, previously showed a 3% increase. This, illustrates a 2.9% increase. So an overall increase from year to year of just over $1.5 million. You'll notice that there's a reduction in the pilots and penalties. There's a couple, pilots that are decreasing in value this year, resulting in a decrease of about $113,000. And then state aid, while in the previous slide, I showed a $1.1 million increase in foundation aid, our expense-driven aids are going down. So overall, an estimated increase of $893,000 increase in state aid. Overall, a $2.3 million increase in revenues and $91,751,000. Staffing changes, these are the same staffing changes that we discussed at the last meeting, based on retirements, looking at enrollment data. We were able to, we reduced 15 positions, from, budget to budget. They are each listed there. And again, no person is losing a job because of this, and we're not cutting any program or services, as a result of these reductions. So on the expense side, we have a 2.5% increase budget to budget. Overall budget of $93,427,725, a $2.28 million increase from year to year. You'll notice the largest part is the program, which we discussed at the last meeting, increasing by 0.81%. It's also the largest dollar increase. The administration also having a slight increase of 0.1% from year to year, of the total budget. And then you'll see the decrease in capital, that's due to the debt service reducing as part of the budget. Capital outlay project, each year we're, allowed by the state to do a $100,000 capital outlay project if it's included in our budget. And we're aided at approximately 73.2%. So meaning if we spend $100,000, the following year the state would pay us $73,200 in state aid for the work that's done. Currently, we're doing exterior doors at Pioneer Elementary School that we're not able to complete in the last project. We're continuing doing that as well in this proposal for the upcoming budget. So overall, on the left in the green is their appropriations of $93,427,000. And on the right is how that how we make up for that in revenue. About 59% is due to the tax levy of $54,105,000. About 39% is state aid, so just over $36 million in state aid. And then the last little bit of revenue, we have a little bit of federal, which is Medicaid at about $120,000, and then some miscellaneous, lines. In total, the Medicaid and the miscellaneous is about $1.6 million. We need to balance the budget with appropriating $1,676,000 in reserves from our current reserve funds. This is a very normal amount for us. It's a safe amount for budget our size. The reserve that we'd appropriate and balance in this budget, the largest part would be our ERS, or Employees Retirement Reserve, of $1,171,303. And then the rest are all budgeted numbers, but you'll see there the workers' compensation, unemployment, employee benefits, accrued liability, and tax surcharge reserve that we appropriate to balance the budget. Estimated tax bill. So to refamiliarize yourself with these, last year on the very left column, the proposed 24-25, that's what we were proposing last year at this time, prior to knowing what the assessment levels would be for the towns and municipalities for the following year. The middle column, the 24-25 actual, is what actually occurred, and then on the right is the proposed, what we're proposing this year, knowing that these numbers are estimated, and they're estimated based on the current assessed value, so we're not assuming any increase in property value from year to year, which we anticipate that happening last year at this time, we estimated a tax rate of $15.53. And after Star, $150,000 home, we estimated the tax was $1,804.50. The actual tax rate, once we received the final assessments in August, was $14.22, so significantly lower due to the reassessments. And so actual bill for $150,000 home fully assessed was $1,616. This year, assuming a 2.9% increase in the tax levy, we're just taking that current tax rate of $14.22, increasing it by 2.9%, to get $14.63. So overall, a tax bill on a $150,000 home of $1,677.50. It's an annual increase of $61.50 for a monthly change of $5.14. If your assessment's higher, obviously that increase would be more. If your assessment's lower, that increase would be less. So when we, as I was stating in the previous slide, we project based on prior year assessed value, which is the gray bar. So I look back each of the last 3 years, and then the green bar is what we've actually adopted. So you can see each year that number goes down. I don't expect that number to go down by the drastic numbers that we see here due to our major communities not having reassessments. But we typically anticipate that number to be slightly lower than what we present in the spring. So, as I discussed last week, or 2 weeks ago at our last meeting, one of the major things we need to always look at while we're budgeting is multi-year budgeting. We don't know the future. There's a lot of gray areas each year that we're looking out into the future. So what will state aid growth be in future years? We have a tax cap limit of 2%, right? As far as the CPI, our health insurance rates have been increasing at or above trend, in between 10 and 14% annually. Our over 65 Medicare plans are anticipated to more than double in 2027 in total cost. And then finally, electric buses. We understand that electric buses are significantly more expensive than the diesel buses at this point. Still, the state law, while there's been discussion in news articles that maybe this law will change, it still has not changed. I'm not hearing anything from the state budget at this point that it will be changed even in this budget process, if it does get changed at all in the future. So at this point, we have to continue going with the current law that all buses starting in 2027 that we purchase must be electric, and then we must have all of our fleet converted to electric by 2035. Additional costs for chargers, infrastructure, and the buses themselves. So we need to be able to prepare for that. We have approximately 60 buses in our fleet over an 8 or 9 year period. You're looking at 7 to 8 buses a year that we would need to change over during that time period. So there's multiple propositions on this bill. The first proposition is the budget that we just went over. There's a proposition for transportation that we have each year. This year we'll have 2 propositions for transportation. The first one is for diesel and gas buses. There are a total of 9 buses, 7 traditional buses and 2 SUV vehicles for some of the smaller ones that we're taking to some out-of-district placements. The total cost is $1,323,815. We use reserves and fund balance to cover that, so it does not affect the tax rate. This year we also have a transportation proposition for zero-emission buses. The 2 buses, one 60-passenger wheelchair bus and one 70-passenger zero-emission 70-passenger bus. We'll use reserves, grants, and fund balance. We've been awarded $449,000 towards the purchase of those buses. We've also been awarded $110,000 towards the purchase of the chargers. Again, this would not cause an increase to the taxes if approved. This is a chance to, if approved, for our transportation department to start testing, figuring out how these zero-emission buses work and how they would work for us specifically, along with taking advantage of the grant money that's currently available out there. Proposition 4, establishing a capital reserve. This is a capital reserve of $10 million, up to $10 million to be funded over 10 years. This is something that we won't even be able to fund this upcoming year, and maybe multiple years project, and our next drop off in debt service for a capital project, is not until, the early, 2040s. So any work that's done over the next 15 years or so will need to come out of, reserves and state aid. And so having this set up for, sometime during that time period, where there's maintenance, repairs, upgrades that need to be done, the district's set up to be able to, financially do that. There's also the Proposition 5 funding for the Wood Library. It's a $20,000 increase from year to year, of $1,027,564, 1.99% increase. Again, the Wood Library, they have their own board, they adopt their budget, we, add that to our proposition. If, passed, we collect those funds, and then we pass those funds on to them. Board of Education, there's one, 5-year term, expiring term for, Ms. Julianne Miller, this year. And then the budget vote is Tuesday, May 20th, at the Primary Lake Gym, and at Cheshire Fire Hall from 7 AM to 9 PM. Any questions?
Just a couple quick ones. Can you go back to, you had a slide up there that showed the star, where you break down?
Yep. This one here?
Yep. So, I know the star exemption works, but how does the star work with our budget? I always thought we got reimbursed for what, we gave in star.
Right, so what happens is, the star exemption, there's 2 ways that it works now. One is it's on your property tax bill, that's becoming fewer and fewer. That number does not increase year to year, it stays locked, that star value in. And then we get reimbursed by the state as part of that will be reduced from the tax bill, and the state repays us for that exact amount. The other way is that the star exemption, which is more common now, especially if you purchase a home or you move, you're required to have your star as reimbursement from the state, where the state will pay the taxpayer directly just prior to the tax collection period, and those funds are to be used for paying the full tax bill. So the person would not see, in that left-hand column on the star exemption, they would not have the $525 reduced, they would receive the $525 in cash and pay the full $2,039 tax bill.
So that line is actually a payment to the district, not a payment the district's making.
The $525?
I can't see the numbers from here, my eyes are.
Yeah, so this number here,
Whatever that number on that line, that's a credit to the district, not an expense.
it's a credit off of our, so let's say we have the $51 million in tax levy. There'll be $2 million taken out of that levy that we won't collect, that will be paid by the state.
Right, well, I'm saying for this example here, if you were to add those numbers up, that's money we're getting, not money we're paying out.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's what I mean. Have you seen anything from municipalities on what their tax base is
I have
doing?
not, no, I typically don't see those, this early. I typically don't get the tentative goals at this point.
Anything coming off a pilot that's significant?
We have, one pilot that's reducing, but it's not going back to the tax roll, it's actually a reduction in the pilot, so there's none that I'm aware of that are going from a pilot onto the tax roll.
And then the capital reserves, I've been explained this a few times, I don't know if everybody has. Explain why we have to do a new one, why we just can't use the old capital reserve?
Yeah, so each of the reserves have a funding, limit as far as the amount that can go into them, and a funding time period as far as the time period that we can add funds to that. So for example, a few years ago, we had a bus purchase reserve, but we did not have enough funding to be able to put into that reserve, and so that reserve expired, and we weren't able to fully fund it. And so what happens is at that, for that specific reserve, that's on the ballot of 10 years, if it's not fully funded in 10 years, then it's closed as far as additional funding. If it is fully funded, you cannot add more to it, you can't do an amendment or anything of that nature, you have to have board action, or actually voter action to close that and allow that to move into a new voter approved reserve.
So we're not creating another one, we're just replacing.
Right, so the other reserves have been fully expensed and are now at 0, and so there is no, if we want to save and do a capital reserve going forward, there is no place that we can put funds for that unless we have another one set up. It's not that we're going to start funding it this upcoming year, or that's gonna be fully funded. establishes a reserve, another place where we can hold funds, to help, offset, future capital work.
Thank you, you've done a wonderful job as always. You know, we saw Caroline give out all those awards, I wish we had a section 5 award for you to hand. Best assistant superintendent, no offense.
So just curious about the 9-vehicle proposition 2. How long will those buses, those 9 or those 7 buses, how long will they?
Yeah, so
You see those going out till 2035 when we?
That's probably gonna be what we're gonna have to do. Typically, we would not, keep them that long. What typically happens with our buses is not that they can't continue with mileage, they may be getting higher in mileage, it's the body that starts rusting out because of the salt. And so we can't do the work to continue maintaining those. But that may be, as we get, closer to this transition, it may be that we're holding buses longer. But there is a concern that transitioning that many buses to electric over a short period of time, is going to be extremely difficult.
Any other questions from Matt? Great, thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you.
So we have a vote on the budget, the proposed budget of Regional Solid Safety. First, Amy, and second, Jenny. Questions or comments? All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Matt. We have a consensus agenda. I'll ask for motions, please. Beth, Julianne, questions or comments? All in favor? That carries unanimously also. Thank you. Milton, audit, please.
So we met this past Friday and Matt shared with us a preview of what we would be looking at tonight. And then we had a presentation from our internal audit, focus area on IRS Form 1099. And we had a clean audit. It was interesting to look back at how this approach was done. It was a very, very thorough audit, which again reflected not only the cooperation of the employees, but also the good work that is being done. So it was nicely done.
Great, thank you. Beth, policy?
We have a second reading on a small change on the admission of exchange students that better reflects what we actually do. So on behalf of the committee, I'd like to move that for its second reading. That's approval.
Yeah.
For approval.
Yep, so we don't need a second. Questions or comments? All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you. And site, John?
Site met